Welcome to DaveyJay Today. I'm your host, DaveyJay, and today we're going to be talking about Scream 6, or is it Screevy? Scream the 6th chapter, the one after Scream 2022. Anyways, we're going to talk about the new Scream movie today.
Maybe he gets to win this time.
Davey, 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 Davey. Okay, so I went and saw it, so how did I feel about it? Well, I'm gonna say this, there wasn't a dull moment in the whole movie. It was just really well paced, so it's very entertaining. And the first thing I thought as the movie ended was, this movie has a lot of rewatchability. So when it comes to throwing it on over and over at parties and stuff like that, I'm going to watch this movie probably quite a bit. I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it. There are worse movies in this franchise. For example, I've always had a thing for Scream 3, but I know it's not the greatest Scream movie in the whole franchise, okay? Many people really dislike Scream 3, and I understand that. But I hold it near and dear to my heart. It was the first Scream movie that I actually saw in the movie theaters in the year, I think, 2000. So, yeah, although people really hate Scream 3, I love Scream 3. So if you love Screevy or Scream 6, that's cool. It's just not my favorite movie ever. Not going to give it a 10 out of 10 because the original Scream, let's face it, that's a 10 out of 10.
It's a Scream, baby! Hold on a sec. I'll be right back.
Wes Craven's influence is sorely missed. He just knew how to make a horror movie really well. Not that these guys don't know what they're doing. I think they've done really well with Scream 2022 and then Scream 6 as a follow-up. But not my favorite movie in the franchise, but I'll watch it again. I will say this, Melissa Barrera, who plays Sam, was much, much better in this movie. I thought her acting chops were a little weird and a little off in Scream 2022, so I really didn't buy her fully as even a good actress. And then here she is in Scream 6 just tearing it up. She has probably 80% of the lines in the movie, and she is the star, and it shows. She's gotten her acting chops. Obviously, she's been practicing or taking some kind of acting classes or just getting better. So I really appreciate Melissa Barrera as Sam in this movie much more than how she portrayed Sam in Scream 2022. As for legacy characters in the new Scream movie, we only get 3. Courtney Cox, Skeet Ulrich, and then we get Hayden Panettiere, which we will talk about a little later on. I thought that Billy Loomis, although his usage was very sparse, was quite effective. And I think it's really cool how they bring him back as kind of a flashback insanity scene. Courtney Cox is great as usual. And, of course, we didn't see Neve Campbell in this because of the payment dispute, so she wasn't in Scream 6. Which means this is Neve Campbell's first time not being in a Scream movie. As for the kills, there were some really good kills. Let's just say it's a very, very gory Scream entry. And yeah, my only issue with some of the violence in this movie is that there was so many stabs going on, and I'm not trying to spoil too much. Well, this is a movie review, so spoiler alert. Too many people live in this movie. It's like they're afraid to kill people off, and I'm not going to say who lives, but let's just say there are multiple people who get stabbed over 10 times, and they make it in the end. So I don't really get it. Sure, it's a movie and they defy the laws of physics and gravity, and I understand that. It's a horror movie and it's meant to be campy, cheesy, and silly. But it's just a little unbelievable when you got people surviving after 10 plus stabs. There were a couple points in the movie that I really enjoyed. For example, at the beginning of the movie, it completely takes you through the point of view of the killer. It starts off with the Ghostface doing his thing, stalking his prey, and then, of course, getting the kill shot. And what we see after that is how Ghostface operates. He walks back to his apartment and tries finding his roommate, who is nowhere to be found, and then that killer gets killed by the new Ghostface. It's extremely meta for meta being meta. if you know what I mean. So yeah, it's really interesting. I'm not going to give away too much. If you want to see the movie, go see it for yourself. One of the cheesiest parts for me is Hayden Panettiere, and I thought she was great in Scream 4, and I love her as an actress. But there was some major cheese when she's like, "Hi, Kirby Reed, FBI." It was the cheesiest scene in the movie, and I was like, oh, okay, so you're an FBI agent now, which is fine, but it's just more of that unbelievable cheesy acting. It's like, how do you even buy this, you know?
Special Agent Kirby Reed, FBI. I work out of the Atlanta office.
You lost.
At the end, the killers, it's like they're all related to Richie, basically. It's like, okay, come on. I mean, I guess it makes sense if you want to make them related to the killers from the previous installment. That makes sense. And I thought it was also really cool that they paid homage to basically every single killer in this whole franchise when it comes to Scream 5, 4, 3, 2, and Scream 1, the original. They pay homage to Billy Loomis, Stu Macher, Debbie Salt. Everybody's in there, and I can't remember what's his name. The one that Scott Foley played in Scream 3. Yeah, I thought it was really cool how they played homage to those certain killers in the franchise. Another cool part for me was all the red herring setup. For example, one of the main characters in the movie was Officer Bailey, who is this cop and also a parent to one of Jenna Ortega's friends in the movie. And yeah, just the whole time you're like, oh, this guy's got to be the killer or knows the killer or something. They keep setting up this dialogue that makes you think, oh, maybe he's not the killer. So it goes back and forth, and it's really confusing. My favorite part about new Scream movies is that we get to play the whodunit at the beginning of each movie. Obviously, if we see the movie, we know who done it, but it's fun watching these new Scream entries and playing the game. That's my favorite part of it. Also, another cool scene was the subway scene. Obviously, when you're traveling in New York City, they go through dark areas and the lights kind of go off for a minute, and then they come back on, and then they fade out, and they come back on. And this movie takes place on Halloween, so people are in their costumes, some of them dressed as Ghostface. Is this the real killer? Is this just a person out celebrating Halloween? It's just a really, really fun and interesting scene how they did it on the New York subways. Obviously, it wasn't shot in New York, but you get the idea. Another cool scene was the one that we all saw in the trailer when they go into the little convenience store or whatever, and Ghostface follows them in, and the guy's like, "Hey bud, what's your problem?" And then Ghostface like stabs this guy, and then the guy grabs a shotgun behind the counter, and he's like, "Hey," and he tries to shoot Ghostface, and then Ghostface like takes the gun, and Sam and Jenna Ortega's character, they're like crawling and trying to get away. It's just an awesome scene, very suspenseful, reminiscent of Wes Craven's building of suspense. But yeah, at the end of the day, did I love this movie? No. But I think you should see it. It's a good horror movie. It's not the best. I've seen a lot of trash horror movies. So on that scale, this is a pretty good movie. I liked it. If I had to give it a rating, I would probably say it's a good 7 out of 10. It's high average, good horror movie fun. So if you want to take your family or your girlfriend and or boyfriend out for a good scary movie, this is the one you take them to. So I hope you all enjoy Screevy. If you want to see more, feel free to subscribe. Comment below, let me know what you thought of the movie. I've said my piece, now it's time to hear yours. Thanks for watching.